Hello everyone. In this video, we will practice graph reading material. Graph reading is a skill you need to practice for the proficiency exam because you can see it in different sections. You can see it in the listening part, you can see it in the careful reading texts, or you can see it in the writing part. And there are several categories, or there are several types in this practice. The first one is line graph. This is a line graph example, and this is also a line graph, and there are pie charts and tables and bar graphs, and we use different verbs for each types. You need to practice these verbs first of all. When you practice them, this material will be easier for you. I mean, finding the answers will be easier for you. So if you want to practice the verbs, you need to go to graph reading handout we gave you at the first place. And so let's begin. So task 1 is a line graph practice. So here there is the description of the line graph and you need to choose the correct one. So how do we do that? You need to underline the important points in the description. I already color coded the important part. So the colors are according to different things. For example, this blue one is about men and this pink one is about the woman, let's say. So let's start from the beginning, and you need to compare the information with the options all the time. So it looks like it will take so much time, but actually it does not. The line graph shows the number of books read by women and men at public library between this and this. So this is okay. And the number of books read by men increased steadily. So steadily means it is like this. There is no sudden movement. So this is, for example, increasing steadily. Increased steadily between this state and this state. So we need to check. So men is light color one. This is the light colored line. So we need to check it. Does it increase steadily? Yes, it is increasing steadily in this one too, and in this one too. So that's okay. We checked it and it is correct. But the numbers are important too. Yes, it is increasing steadily, but from what to what? So it is from about 3,000 to 4,000. So we need to check it now. 3,000 to 4,000. Yes, this is correct. And this is correct too. This is correct too. So all three of them match our description for now. After that, the number rose dramatically. Dramatically means a lot. Dramatically to 10,000 books in 2013. So it should increase. I mean, the number should increase from 4,000 to 10,000 in 2013. So let's check it. Yes, 10,000. And it is 12,000 here. So B cannot be our answer for now. So it should be here. And this is 10,000. So this means our answer should be A or C because B doesn't match our description anymore. And then to 14,000 books in 2014. So let's check it. Yes, 14. Let's check C, 14. Okay. This was the highest figure in the period. So now we need to check the numbers in women. Women started off reading more books than men. So this means the dark colored line should be somewhere above here. I mean, somewhere above 3,000 because the men started off with 3,000. So yes, and in C, yes too. But their numbers followed a different pattern. Between 2011 and 2012, there was a significant increase from 5,000 books to 8,000. So it means we need to look at these dates and we need to look for these numbers. Okay, let's check. So it should be from 5 to 8. 5 to 8. Yes, this is correct. And 5 to 8. This is correct too. So for now, both figures match. and then a gradual rise. Gradual rise, it is something like increasing steadily to a peak means, for example, if it is somewhere here, peak means the highest point. So a peak of 10,000 books in 2013. So in 2013, it should reach the highest point, and the highest point is 10,000 books. So let's check it. It is 10,000, yes, and this is the highest point. Let's check C. It is 10,000, but this is not the highest point because it continues. But let's check, does it continue? However, in 2014, the numbers fell back. It means it decreased to 8. So this means our answer cannot be C because it continues the same, but it should fall. So our answer is A in this case. So let's check task 2. This is a line graph 2. And we start reading. The line graph shows the changes in the percentages of car ownership by household in London over a period of 15 years. Okay. The percentage of car ownership in London increased between 2000 and 2015. Okay. Car ownership. And there is 1 car, 2,000, 2 cars, and 3 cars here. And the colors are different, as you see. In particular, okay, so we need to be careful from now on. The percentage of families with 2 cars, and it is the orange one. It rose. So we need to check, does it rise? So it rises here. It rises here in B2, and it rises here in C2. Okay, for now it matches. While the percentage of families with 2 cars was 5% in 2000. So let's check. Yes, it is 5. It is 5 here too. And it is 5 here too. Okay. It increased to 40% in 2015. So 2015 is here. It is 40. Yes. It is 40 here too. And it is 40 here too. For now, all of them match. There was not a big change in the percentage of families with 1 car. So now we need to check the blue lines. But it says not a big change. It rose from 40% to 50% between 2000 and 2015. So from 40 to 50. Let's check. 40, 50. Okay. 40, 50 and 40. But it is 30 here. It means our answer cannot be C. So now we need to check A and B only. In 2000, no families had 3 cars. So now we need to check the gray lines. No families. No. So it should be 0. Yes. A and B, they match for now. But in 2010, the percentage of families with 3 cars reached 10% and remained steady. Remained steady means it was the same. The number was the same until 2015. So let's check. 2010, 10%. 2010, 10%, and it remains steady. Yes. 2010, 10%, but it increased to 20 here. It means this is wrong too. So our answer is A here. Okay, let's check task 3, and this is a pie chart task. The pie charts compare the Illinois state government spending. It means how much money the government spends on several things, let's say, in this and this state and in percentages. So according to the charts, Illinois state government spent the greatest part. So in pie charts, this superlative thing is important because we see what is the most part, what the most part is. I mean, the least part. So we see the percentages more clearly, let's say. And the greatest part of their budget on education in 1978. So we need to check now. So education should have the highest percentage in 1978 because it says the greatest. So here it is 20%, but there's 22. It means this cannot be our answer. So we need to check B and C. This is 35 and this is the highest. So yes. And this is 35, and it is the highest too. So it means B and C might be our answers. Okay, it constituted. So see, our verbs changed now. Constitute. More than 1/3 of the total spending. 1/3 means it is something like 30 or 33%. So if it is more than that, it should be 35, 36. So it matches. So the information matches 35 and 35. But here, no, it is 20. However, spending on education decreased to 15% in 2014. So let's check. We are not checking A anymore because it cannot be our answer. 15 and 15. Yes. Another decrease was in human services. It made up means constitute. They are the same. It made up almost 1/5 of the total spending in 1978. So 1/5 means something like 20%. So we need to check now. Human services, 20% here, and it decreased. It dropped to, so drop, decrease, to 12%. So let's check. Human services, we are not checking A, sorry. Human services 19, so it decreases to 12 and 12. Yes, it matches. Also, the government spending on transportation went down, drop, decrease. They are the same. From 12 to 8. So let's check. Transportation, 12, no, not 8, sorry. 12, 8, 12, 8. Okay. On the other hand, spending on general governing and medical services increased. General governing increased, yes. General governing, yes. And medical, yes, it increased. And it increased. So let's check. General governing made up, constitute, made up, nearly 1/5. Nearly 1/5 means it is not 20, but it is something like 18, 19, 17. Nearly 1/5 of the total spending. So let's check governing. But this is, no, not A. This is more than 1/5. Yeah, nearly, but let's say it is close. Okay, 21 is also okay. It is nearly 1/5 of the total spending, whereas its proportion means this one part, its proportion reached almost 40%. So let's check. Almost 40%, it means it is close to 40%. Yes, but we are not checking A again. And yes, almost 40. Almost 40. This looks like a closer option because almost, when we say almost, it should be really close to 40. But let's check more information. And the proportion of medical services was over 10%. So it can be 11, 12, 13, and it almost doubled. Almost doubled means it can be 20 or 19, doubled. Okay, let's check. Medical services, it should double, but this is not doubling, this is tripling. See, it is 30, but here it is 23. So B cannot be our answer. C looks like a better option, you see, and here it was nearly 40 and it is doubling. So let's say C here. Okay, let's check task 4. And this is a table, so you can see the numbers better here, numbers and percentages. And what does it show? Percentages of consumer spending for 3 categories of products and services in 5 countries in 2002. Okay, there are countries, there are categories, and numbers. Out of 5 countries, consumer spending on food and drinks, it means we need to look at this category, was noticeably higher in Turkey at this number, and in Ireland at nearly this number. Okay, so let's check. Turkey should have the highest number and this number should be this. Let's check. Okay, this is the highest. This is the highest. This is the highest. Okay, let's check Ireland now, and it should be something like this. 29. Okay, it says nearly, so it is okay. 29. This is also okay. And this is also okay. For now, all of our options match the information. The proportion of spending on leisure and education, leisure means free time activities, leisure and education was also the highest in Turkey, and it should be this. Let's check. It is 4.35, but no, the numbers do not match, so our answer cannot be E. Yes, this matches, and this matches too, and it is the highest, and the number is correct. Okay, while the expenditure means spending, the money you spend on clothing and footwear was significantly higher in Italy. It means Italy should have the highest number in this category at 9, and it should have 9%, let's say. And okay, Italy, we are not looking A, sorry. 9, this is correct. Italy, but it is not 9, so our answer cannot be C2. So B is our answer because Italy has 9%, let's say. I mean, the expenditure is 9% in clothing and footwear, and it is the highest, so this does not match. So our answer is B. Okay arkadaşlar, let's look at task 5. So it says US, North Korea, Afghanistan, and France here. But since there is no US here, so let's skip that task because I think there is a mistake here. So there is no bar that represents US. So let's go to task 6. Okay, so I color coded the important parts again, and this is a bar graph, just like task 5. Hybrid vehicles were sold in Japan, the US, and the rest of the world. So we have 3 bars, let's say. During this time, total sales. So since we don't know the total sales, we can skip that part. So let's start with the specific information. According to the data, sales were high in the US, but the pattern fluctuated. So fluctuate means, so it changed. So if, for example, if it goes like high, low, it means it is fluctuating. So let's check US, for example. So US is this horizontal lines. So it needs to fluctuate. It means it is low, it is high now, so it is low again, so it is high again. So it seems like fluctuating, yes. Okay, next information. While they rose by, so this word by is important. They rose by 100,000 from this to this. So we need to check the numbers that represent the US. So 2006, 2007. So let's look at the US. It is this number here, but it is in 2007, it is this. By means, so the difference between these numbers. The difference is 150,000, but it should be 100,000. That's why it means A cannot be our answer. So let's check this. This is 250, this is 350. It means yes, the difference is 100,000 because there is by there. And again, this is also 100. It means B and C can be our options. Okay, they peaked. Peak means the highest point. It reached the highest point. They peaked in 2007 at this. So the number was this. Yes, this seems to be the peak point. No, we are not looking at A, sorry. This seems to be the peak point in B. Yes, because the others are lower. Yes, peak point. Okay. After that, there was a steady fall to this in 2009. Steady fall means it is falling all the time. So it is falling here, it is falling here. So it is something like that. So let's check. It needs to fall to this number in 2009. 280,000. Let's check. Yes, it seems that it is that number here and here too. Okay, they match. On the other hand, sales in Japan were much lower at the start. So let's check Japan. We are not looking at A. Yes, lower and lower here too. Okay. They rose gradually, rise, increased, they are the same, to this number in 2008. So let's check. In 2008, 90,000. In 2008, yes, 90,000 and 90,000, the same, B and C. But then they jumped to, increased this number in 2009. Let's check. 330. Yes. And yes, they are the same again. Sales in the rest of the world, it means we are going to check other part, increased steadily from this to this during the 4-year period. It means we need to check 2006 and 2009 because it should be 55,000 in 2006 and it should be 120,000 in 2009. Okay, let's check. So other is vertical lines. It should be 55, but it is not 55 here. Sorry, it is slightly over 50, yes. And it should be 120. This is 150, but this is 120. See, this is the difference. It means B cannot be our answer too. So C is our answer. Okay, let's go to task 7. This is a bar graph too. So this is about carbon dioxide emissions in metric tons. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 countries, and there are 2 dates. No, there are, yes, many dates. Okay. So in 1967, the UK and Sweden had the highest emissions per person at 11 and 9 respectively. So this word is important. Respectively means generally there are 2 or 3 things here and there are numbers. So I mean we write the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we write the countries here. It means the first number here matches with the first thing here. It means this 11 is for UK, this 9 is for Sweden. One by one, they match. Respectively means that. Okay, so let's check. In 1967, 11 and 9, UK and Sweden. Okay, UK is UK and Sweden, 11 and 9, but this is not 11. This is 11 and this is 9. This is 11 and this is 9. But this is not 11. This seems to be 9. So therefore, we cannot choose A. So it means we are not looking at A anymore, according to this information. In the UK, there was a steady decline in carbon dioxide emissions over the period. And the amount was 8.5 in 2007. So we are looking at UK again, but we are not looking at A. In 2007, it should be 8.5, but it should be decreasing. See, this is decreasing, and it is 8.5. So this is correct. And again, steady decrease, and it is 8.5 again. So B and C, they seem to match. Okay. So now we are looking at Sweden. There was an increase in Sweden until 1977. Let's check. 1977. So yes, there is an increase. And there is an increase. Okay. And after it reached over 10, it means it needs to be 10. Over 10, sorry. Yes, over 10. And here over 10 too. So you need to do this. Yes, it takes some time, but you need to match all the time. Over 10, the amount fell sharply. The amount was below 6 in 2007. So let's check. It needs to be below 6. Yes, C fell sharply. It is not steady. It is not like this. It just falls here. Okay, below 6. Yes, it is below 6. And it is below 6. It fell sharply and then it falls under 6. It fell under 6, yes. Okay, so B and C are still our options. In contrast to the UK and Sweden in 1967, Portugal started with the lowest. It is 1. So let's check Portugal, and it is this. It should be 1. No, we are not looking at A. Yes, it is 1 here. It is 1 here too. Yes. And over the next 40 years, it means, until 2007, this number went up continuously, reaching 5.5 in 2007. So let's check. Reaching 5.5, yes. Increasing, and no, this is something like 3. It is not 5.5, so it is 5.5 here. So we didn't choose A here. Therefore, we are not looking at A. And B is something like 3. It is not 5.5, but this is 5.5. It means C is our answer. Since we still have information that needs checking, you can continue to check. But you can just look at C, for example, to check if all the information match with your figure. But now it looks like your answer is C. Okay, let's check task 8. This is a line graph. Again, it looks really challenging to follow all those lines, but you need to be careful with their shapes. And okay, during this period, so this is about the money spent on the digital music industries, I guess, and in 4 countries. During this period, the money that the Dutch means, Holland, let's say, it represents Holland. The Dutch digital music industry earned increased from almost this million to over this million. So let's check. Holland is this one, and it is from 60 to over 140 million. Okay, that matches. The increase in Sweden, so Sweden is this, was similar to the increase in Holland. So you will see this structure a lot in line graphs. If it is similar, it means they go hand in hand, let's say, until 2014. So let's check. So they are really similar. Let's check others too. Holland and Sweden, 60, this, but here they are not similar. So this is below, for example. So B cannot be our answer. Let's check this too. Yes, they seem to be similar. Yes, A and C, let's say. And between this and this, the money they earned rose from this to this. We are talking about Sweden, by the way. But after 2014, the increase was not as sharp as it was in Holland. In 2016, the Swedish digital music industry earned about this. So first of all, let's look at this one. Between this and this, increased from 60 million to 80 million. Okay, 60 million, 80 million. Correct. Let's look at C. 60 million, 80 million. Okay, and then in 2016, 100 million. Okay, in 2016, 100, correct. 2016, 100, correct. The French digital music industry earned the least. Superlatives are important, by the way. But the money they earned increased gradually over the 4 years. So if it is the least, it means it should be somewhere at the bottom. So France is this. Yes, it is at the bottom here. C, yes. So that is correct too. But does it increase? It does not increase here. So it is increasing here, but it is, it is the same until from 2013 to 2016, but in A it is, yes, gradually increasing. So I would say our answer is A, but let's continue to check the rest of the information. And overall, there was an upward trend in Holland, Sweden, and France. It means they were increasing. Holland, Sweden, and France. So Holland, yes, it is increasing. Sweden, yes, and France. Let's check this too. Holland, Sweden, but France does not increase. But let's keep on. The case was different for Spain. It means it decreased at some point. Although the money that the Spanish digital music industry earned increased to around 80 million, so between this and this, 2012, 2015, 80 million. Let's check. Spain is here. 2012, 2015, it increased to 80. Yes. Let's check C. Yes, it increased to that. But in C, for example, it reached 80 million in 2014, and then it decreases. But in the information, in the description, it says 2015. But let's go on. It says it dropped by, it means the difference. It doesn't drop to 20 million, it dropped by 20 million. So 20 million in 2016. It means it dropped to 60 million because the difference should be 20 million. So let's check A. Yes, after 2015, it drops to 60. But here, after 2014, it drops to 60. So therefore, our answer is A. Okay, let's look at task 9. So this is a table practice. The table illustrates the breakdown of scores for the IELTS general test in 2010. So this is the introduction part. Therefore, we need to start here. Of course, you need to understand this part too. So I am being fast right now. So German candidates. So let's look at the table first of all before reading the description. So there are 4 countries here. So if you read this part, you will get that too. So separate scores for all 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So they are here. And then there's overall result. And there are 4 countries here. German candidates achieved the highest overall band score. So we need to check that first of all because there is superlative here. So the German people should get the highest score. So this is highest here. It is highest here too. And it is highest here too. So that's okay. Moreover, they scored the highest of all 4 language groups in all modules of the test. So we need to check these parts now because German candidates should have the highest score in each part. So this is highest here, but this is not the highest one because there is 6.4 Malaysian. Therefore, A cannot be our answer anymore. And let's check B. So this is the highest one. Yes, this is the highest too. There's Malaysian, but still German candidates have the highest score. And this is the highest one, and this is the highest one. Okay, so let's check C. This is highest, but here French has the highest score. Therefore, our answer is B. So we found the answer at the beginning, but again, as I said before, you need to check other information too to make sure that your answer is B. So let's keep going. French. So French candidates scored the second highest overall scores with 6.5. So we need to check overall. Yes, 6.5, but we are not looking at A anymore. We need to look at B and C, let's say. Yes, 6.5, 6.5. Let's go on. Closely followed by Malaysian and Indonesian candidates. Okay, yes, they are close to 6.5. Yes, close to 6.5. Although French candidates did almost equally in the speaking and listening modules compared to this and this candidates, there was a significant decrease in their grades for the writing module. It means in speaking and listening parts, they got similar results. I mean, French candidates with these ones. But in writing, there were differences. So let's check. French, speaking, and listening. Yes, they are similar. See, this is 6.3, 6.2. This is 6.4. Not so many differences. And here too. But when you check writing, French has a much higher grade. I mean, much higher score than these ones, 6 or 6.1. This is correct too. Let's check this. Yes, this is okay too. Let's go on. These grades were high compared to this and this candidates. On the other hand, both French and Indonesian candidates scored the lowest in the reading section. Okay, let's check. In the reading section, this and this should be the lowest, and in B it is correct. But in this one, French is not the lowest. This is the lowest. Okay, that's why C is not correct again. But we had already found it. So our answer is B. So let's look at the last task. And this is a pie chart, but there are not numbers. So you need to see the shape very carefully here. And the pie charts illustrate 5 main sources of energy in the US in this and this year. It can be seen from the charts that the biggest changes were in oil and nuclear power production. So let's check. Biggest change means biggest increase or decrease. Okay, oil, yes, there is a change here. And nuclear power production, but I mean, there is no change, I guess, in A. So let's look at B. Yes, there is a change in oil. Yes, there is a change in nuclear power. And yes, there's a change. So B and C seem to be better options, but let's go on. Let's not say A is not our answer for now, because we are still at the very beginning. Oil production decreased from this and this. Look, we don't have numbers in the shape, but we can guess it. Okay, so let's write all oil production. So it is the green part from this and this. So this is almost a half. We can understand it from the shape, but it became like 1/3, something like that. Okay, so from 42, it should be 33. Okay, this looks okay, but this is like a half, right? So therefore, A does not seem to be the good option. But this is okay. But in B, it says oil production decreased. But here, it increases. Therefore, B is not our option. So let's look at this part. Yes, this is not half. This is not like 50%. This is 42. And this decreased to 43. This is a good one. Okay, A and C, let's say. While nuclear power production doubled. Doubled means it was 5. Now, I mean, in 1990, it is 10, let's say. So nuclear, 5, 10. So there is no change actually here. So let's look at C. This is 5, this is 10. This seems to be bigger than this. So again, C seems to be a better option. But let's go on. On the other hand, coal production increased only slightly. Slightly means, I mean, not that much. Very little, let's say. So let's find it. It is the yellow part. But it says increased. Here, it decreases. Therefore, it increased here very little. See, so C is our answer, obviously. So we finished the task. I hope it was clear for you. So good luck and see you in other tasks.